Okay, I'm going to try to read the book of Esther in my live chat event, and I'm not really quite figuring out how to do this. So, um, it says we're supposed to go. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I got this figured out yet. I got a firewall defender. Or I have no idea what happened there. Okay, 2 people are watching, so I better start. I wanted to show the scriptures there. I have no idea if that's functional. Is this working? Tell me in the comments. I got one person on, and okay. Esther chapter 1. And it came to be in the days of Ahasuerus. He is the Ahasuerus who reigned from India to Kush, 127 provinces. In those days, when sovereign Ahasuerus sat in the temple, or sat on the throne of his reign, which was in the citadel of Susan, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast for all his officials and servants. The power of Persia and Media, the nobles and the princes and the provinces were before him. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm sorry, I've never done this before. When he showed the riches of his esteemed reign and the splendor of his excellent greatness for many days. I don't like this camera at all. Sorry, guys. 180 days. And when these days were completed, the sovereign made a feast lasting 7 days for all the people who were present in the citadel of Shushan, from great to small, in the courtyard of the garden of the sovereign's palace. White and blue tapestries were fastened with cords of fine linen and purple on the silver rods and marble columns. The couches were of gold and silver on a mosaic pavement of periphery, marble, mother of pearl, and black marble. Okay. Hey, do you guys hear the sound? I don't hear any comments on the sound. Got lots of comments from people, but nobody said if they can hear the sound. So is the sound good quality? All right. I'm going to just keep on reading. Tell me in the comments if you got sound. It would really help to know if people can hear. All right. And they served drinks in golden vessels, the vessels being different from one another, with much royal wine, according to the hand of the sovereign. And drinking was allowed according to the law. No one was compelled, for so the sovereign had ordered all the officers of his house that they should do according to each one's pleasure. Sovereigness Vashti also made a feast for the women in the royal palace, which sovereign Ahasuerus owned. On the 7th day, when the heart of the sovereign was glad with wine, he ordered Mehuman, Biztha, Charbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 eunuchs who were in attendance in the presence of sovereign Ahasuerus, to bring sovereigness Vashti before the sovereign with her royal crown in order to show her loveliness to the people and the officials. For she was lovely to look upon. But sovereigness Vashti refused to come at the sovereign's command, brought by his eunuchs, and the sovereign was very wroth, and his rage burned within him. So the sovereign said to the wise men who understood the times, for in this way the sovereign's matter came before all who knew law and right ruling, and those who were close to him, Tarshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Merez, Marcina, Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, who saw the sovereign's face, who sat first in the reign. According to law, what is to be done to sovereigness Vashti, because she did not perform the command of sovereign Ahasuerus through the eunuchs? And Memucan answered before the sovereign and the princes, Sovereigness Vashti has misbehaved not only toward the sovereign, but also toward all the princes and all the people who are in all the provinces of sovereign Achashverosh. For the matter of the sovereigness shall go forth to all women and make their husbands despised in their eyes, when they say, Sovereign Achashverosh commanded Sovereigness Vashti to be brought in before him, but she did not come. And this day the princesses of Persia and Media shall say to all the sovereign's officials that they have heard of the matter of the sovereigness with plenty of scorn and wrath. And if it pleases the sovereign, let a royal decree go out from him, and let it be recorded in the laws of the Persians and the Medes, so that it does not pass away, that Vashti shall come no more before sovereign Ahasuerus, and let the sovereign give her royal position to another who is better than she. And the sovereign's decree which he makes shall be proclaimed throughout all his rule, great as it is, and all the wives shall esteem to their give esteem to their husbands, both great and small. And the word was good in the eyes of the sovereign and the princes, and the sovereign did according to the word of Memucan. So he sent letters to all the sovereign's provinces, to each province in its own writing, and to each people in their own language, that each man should be master in his own house and speak in the language of his people. Chapter 2. After these events, when the wrath of sovereign Ahasuerus had ceased, he remembered Vashti, what she had done, and what had been decreed against her. Then the sovereign's servants who attended him said, Let lovely young maidens be sought for the sovereign, and let the sovereign appoint officers in all the provinces of his reign, and let them be gathered to all the lovely young maidens. Gather all the lovely young maidens to the citadel of Shushan, into the women's quarters, under the hand of Hegai, the sovereign's eunuch, guardian of the women, to give their preparations. And let the young woman who pleases the sovereign be sovereigness instead of Vashti. And the word pleased the sovereign, and he did so. In the citadel of Shushan there was a certain man, a Yehudi, whose name was Mordecai, son of Yair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been exiled from Jerusalem with the captives who had been exiled with Jeconiah, sovereign of Yehuda, when Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, had exiled, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, had exiled. And it came to be that he was raising Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The young woman was beautiful and of good appearance. And when her father and mother died, Mordecai took her as his own daughter. And it came to be, when the sovereign's command and decree were heard, and when many young women were gathered at the citadel of Shushan into the hand of Hegai, that Esther too was taken to the sovereign's palace, into the hand of Hegai, guardian of the women. And the young woman pleased him, and she received loving commitment from him. So he hastened to give her preparations and her portions, and gave her 7 choice female servants from the sovereign's palace. And he moved her and her female servants to the best place in the house of the women. Esther had not made known her people or her relatives, for Mordecai had commanded her not to make it known. And every day Mordecai walked about in front of the courtyard of the women's quarters to learn of Esther's welfare and what is done to her. Now when the turn of each young woman came to go into sovereign Ahasuerus, after she had completed 12 new moons according to the regulations for the women, for the days of their preparation were completed as follows: 6 new moons with oil of myrrh, and 6 new moons with perfumes and with the preparations of women. Thus prepared, the young woman went to the sovereign, and whatever she asked for was given to take with her from the house of the women to the sovereign's palace. In the evening she went, and in the morning she returned to the second house of the women, into the hand of Shaashgaz, the sovereign's eunuch, guardian of the concubines. She would not come into the sovereign again unless the sovereign delighted in her and called for her by name. And when the time had come, and when the turn came for Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her as his daughter, to come into the sovereign, she sought to no matter but what Hegai, the sovereign's eunuch, guardian of the women, advised. And Esther found favor in the eyes of all who saw her. And Esther was taken to sovereign Ahasuerus into his royal palace in the 10th new moon, which was the new moon of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the sovereign loved Esther more than all the women, and she found favor in loving commitment in his eyes more than all the maidens. And he set the royal crown upon her head and made her sovereigness instead of Vashti. And the sovereign made a great feast, the feast of Esther, for all his officials and servants, and he proclaimed a release in the provinces and gave gifts according to the means of the sovereign. And when maidens were assembled a second time, Mordecai sat within the sovereign's gate. Esther had not made known her relatives and her people yet, as Mordecai commanded her, for Esther obeyed the command of Mordecai, as when she was being raised by him. In those days, when Mordecai sat within the sovereign's gate, two of the sovereign's eunuchs, Bigthan and Teresh, doorkeepers, were wroth and sought to lay hands on sovereign Ahasuerus. And the matter became known to Mordecai, who informed sovereigness Esther. And Esther spoke to the sovereign in Mordecai's name. When the matter was searched into, it was confirmed, and both were hanged on a wooden structure. And it was written in the book of the annals of in the presence of the sovereign. All right, my voice is getting sore, so I'm probably not going to go the whole way through Esther. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.